Today we are talking about conquering social media. And you may say, how does that relate to a personal finance channel? Well, think about it. When we're able to manage our social media accounts, we can use those accounts to effectively and efficiently promote and grow our business. And here on this channel, that's what we're about. Welcome back to Sev Talks Money, where we share tools and tips on building wealth, crushing debt, gaining financial freedom, and even about growing your business. And today we have a special guest. And before I bring her into the stream, I want to share with you some of her credentials. Now, she is the author of several books on how to crush social media in only 2 minutes a day. She's an innovative leader with proven success in developing entrepreneurial ventures. She brings fresh solutions to the emerging market business process and creates excitement around projects. She also coaches in sales, e-sales, and social media presence. Ndeye, welcome to
Thank
Talk
you, Severin.
Money. I am so excited to have you. One of the reasons I'm excited to have you here is because I have viewers who are entrepreneurs or budding entrepreneurs or just people wanting to grow their social media presence, especially YouTube. And so any tips that you share today, I'm sure they're going to appreciate. So again, welcome to Sev Talks Money.
Thank you so much for having me in Sev Talks Money, and I'm really glad being here. Thank you for having me. And what I would like to say is, whatever you're doing, it's all about the consistency. Even if it looks like social media is all over the place, so many people would tell me, I'm so scared of social media. I don't know how to leverage it. And because of that, the fact that they are scared, they can't make any move. So while you're doing the coaching process or whatever you decide to do, like read one of my books series, you could kind of walk yourself through the process and realize that it's not that scary. It's like, I'm going to come back to you, Severin, when you said something like tax. People are always scared about tax. How do I do it? And I like the way you come up during your show and you are able to be so energetic. And you kind of bring it in a way that, okay, I want to watch this show, even if it's about taxation, even if it's about finance. So you're doing a great job about that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So that's the same thing when it comes to social media.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. I mean, it's the more you learn about something, I think the more comfortable you get. And I'm hoping that at the end of this session that people go away with the fact that social media is simply just posting something. Don't be afraid of the dark void, because whatever response you get back, you know how to manage it. You can decide to delete it from your social media pages. You don't have to accept or block somebody. You don't have to accept what they bring to your page. If you're about positivity, you can get rid of the negativity. So, so yeah.
And also sometimes it's about, it's not just about negativity, because sometimes people could kind of attack you because they had a bad day, or maybe they are going through a lot, and maybe people are not caring about what you're feeling, what's your opinion, and people are like neglecting you. And sometimes it's kind of like attacking you in some ways. That's how you're going to feel it. But actually it's more like calling for your help.
Yeah. Oh, yes, exactly.
And sometimes it's the way to kind of give them attention and turn that person that has to be, I call them trolls. So you could turn your trolls into a new customer. You could turn your trolls into a client. It's just about asking what's going on and why are you just being so mean? And sometimes they would be like, oh, sorry, I did not meant to be rude, or sorry, I did not meant to be mean. It's just I had one of those days. And usually when you spend a little bit more time, if you happen to have the time, that's also another issue. If you happen to have that time, you could kind of listen to that person, and leaving those kind of comments is good and helpful sometimes, because it could be another client into the same situation and feeling like, I want to say something nasty, but seeing the way you handle it, definitely you are the person I want to work with, because you understand that sometimes I could go through hell, but you won't judge me because I'm going through hell, but you would be there for me listen to my point of view and maybe come up with, I don't know, a client perspective, an action, a strategy, or whatever that's coming behind it. But I know it takes a lot also to take it and think about the fact that people are not stupid. When they come to your page, especially a business page, they are coming for business reason. So they are able to see through and say, okay, this is what I want to do with this person or not. And they won't be just judging you based on who is following you.
Yeah.
And I take this analogy, it's like you are driving on a highway. You can't be picking who's going to be behind you. You can't be like, okay, if you are all black cars, I want you to drive, I don't know, on the third line, don't be behind me. You have no control.
Yeah, you can. That is a great perspective because I was just this morning I was thinking about one of the social media or YouTube growth person that I follow, and there's one guy that has actually made his channel about her, and all he's posted is negative stuff. And she's asked to have it taken down, and she one day she just really flared up on him, and her response, it wasn't nasty, but it was like, what is your problem? And there are going to be people like that, and that's a great perspective to have, to say, you know what, they may be going, it's not about me, it's about them. They're going through something, so how I handle it, maybe I may be able to turn them into a client. That's awesome. That is awesome.
And I call it, that's not a me problem, that's a you problem. So the
Yeah.
point is, you choose yourself and which battle do you want to fight. So if you want to go for that battle, just go for it if you have time. If you don't happen to have time, maybe you could handle it another time, or maybe never. But the thing is, you choose if you want to have that person as a client. And I happen to have, it was a public battle, this one. It was on, I think, on Twitter. I'll be quick. So I had on Twitter more than 20,000 people following me. And this person had, like, I think 3 person following him. So he happened to stumble on my book and he said, it's impossible to have this, How to Crush Social Media in Only 2 minutes a day. So he decided to attack me without even reading anything about the book. And the attack was not about the book, it was about me, as personal me, not the book or anything I'm doing. And he was posting things publicly. I was like, do I let the person keep saying those things, or do I fight for it, or what do I do? And it happened that day I had the time and I decided to fight for it. So I asked that person to just realize that you have 3 people following you, and you are teaching me, with all those people following me, how to grow your social media. So now the point is, if I'm the one who may be doing something wrong, just teach me how to do it the proper way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So maybe I'm doing something wrong, and maybe I'm
because you have 3, right? And I have 20,000. So I must be the one. That is so awesome. That is such a great perspective.
And he said something like, you know what? I'll give it some time. I'll go get your book. He said it right on the platform. Everybody could read that comment. And he said he's going to go get the book and get back to me. And maybe he's going to learn something from the book. So I'm like, okay. And I was thinking he's never going to come back. Guess what? A few days later, he came back and said, I'm sorry about what I did. And I'm going to remove my Amazon bad review, because he gave me also a 1-star review. And then he said he's apologizing for what he did. And he realized that applying my book, my resources, he was able to have 200 followers on top of the 3 he had. So he had to come back and say, I'm sorry what I did. I shouldn't have attacked before I read the book or know anything about it before I get to you and saying that your system is not working, your book is not okay, and things like that. So he, at the end, went back to Amazon, posted a 5-star review, and apologized for what he did in the first place. And now he's one of my best followers.
Yes. And that is teaching me a lesson, because my tendency is to delete. If you were saying something nasty on any of my pages, my tendency is to block and delete. And that is such a great strategy. And I know I have here Asian American Legal Focus, who also has a YouTube channel, Beverly Harper. Beverly, I'm displaying my beautiful flowers. You can't really see them, Thank you for my beautiful birthday flowers.
It's beautiful.
I'm displaying them here because the screen is split. You can't really see them. And then
Oh,
also
mine is
Letitia
here.
Bryce. You're showing yours too. Letitia Bryce was also a part of one of our business cohort that I belong to. So I'm sure that they're going to appreciate that comment and those sentiments that you've shared, because as I said, for me, it's, block, delete, I don't have time for you. But what you're showing us is we can take those situations and we can make those people into our followers. We can make them into our, as Pat Flynn, somebody who I follow and greatly respect on social media, he said he has a book called Superfans, making them into superfans. And now I'm rethinking my strategy.
That's exactly what
after
it is.
hearing what you're saying.
You turn your I think your fiercest enemy, because they are already fierce. So if you switch them from being a not fan to fan, it's amazing, because they're going to be your best advocate everywhere.
Yes.
It's going to be like, oh my gosh. And the other day I had a live. We had it was a podcast live, and we had 55 people showing up live. And one of the listeners decided to attack me live. And then you have those fierce fans. I don't even need to answer. I was just relaxing.
Yes.
And they kept calling, and they were the one fighting for me. I'm like, okay, I don't need to fight. I just let them. And it was like, don't say that. If you can't counter argue with facts, don't attack. Because your opinion is your opinion. You have to come back with facts. And they were fighting it. I'm like, okay, the only thing I do, I play the caller, and I'm like, thank you.
Yeah, you turn them into super fans, and they will do the defending, right?
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
And when you have a new published thing or new product, they're going to be the first one to fight for it, because it's something they believe in, and because you turn them from a non-believer into a believer, and you can't buy that.
Yes,
no advertisement could help you. And that's why social media is so powerful, because if you have true values and you could share it, people could connect with you and resonate with you, and nothing could change that.
Yeah. Letitia is saying here, she says, yes, love it. Humility and savvy response to that guy. And Asian American Legal Focus is saying, great interview. Some people are just rude and weird out there. Don't let haters get you down. For real. I mean, it's
turn them into lovers.
Turn that into your super fan. Awesome. This is so awesome. Now, give me, I know you have several of your books about conquering social media or crushing social media. So tell us a little bit of, how can you determine how to differentiate between the different platforms and what you post where, and what kind of strategy
what I would advise first, because I have several books, each of them depending on the subtitle. I don't know if you could see, like the subtitle of this one is only YouTube, Google, Amazon, and cross promotion, blogs, and shop. And the first book would be about Twitter, like, I don't know if you could see, is the light? Yeah. So
Twitter,
each
Facebook,
of them, like
Instagram,
Twitter, Instagram, Qued. I don't know if you're familiar with
Qued. And LinkedIn,
yeah. This is a good one, the Qued one. So what I would say, and I have others, but let's focus on this one for now. What I would say is that don't go everywhere.
Yeah.
That's the first thing, because you're all over the place and you can't focus everywhere. And each platform has its own way of doing things, and it's just going to confuse you. So what I would advise is more like focus on the one that's the best productive for yourself. Where are your customers? Because we are talking about finance here. Where are your customers? Where are they hanging out? Who's your real avatar? And see that avatar. Where are you going? Where are you hanging out? What are you doing? What are you listening to? If it's podcast, go for podcast. If it's radio, go be on that radio. Do your best to be featured there the most you can. If it's on TV, be on TV. If Facebook, be there all the time, because that's where the crowd is. If it's Instagram, go on Instagram. And today I just... a quick story behind this. I talked to a guy who's a drummer in a team, in a group in Manchester in United Kingdom yesterday night. I don't know him. It was the first time through social media he came through. And he told me about a new app called Happs. So I heard of it yesterday and I tried it today. And during my show, I had the CEO of that app, HAPS, hopping on my live
Mm.
and saying he loved what he's saying, which is amazing. And the thing is, why I hop on Happs is because Periscope is down. I don't know if you used to use Periscope or AudioScope.
No,
So
I'm familiar
AudioScope,
with it, but I haven't used it.
yeah. So I was using it and I was able to grow my audience on there. And the thing is, it's no longer live. I received an email on December 15th. It's gone.
Wow. Yeah.
So I was like, oh my gosh, what do I do? And then in the meantime, he happened to cross my life. And then he told me, you know what? Everything you had from Periscope, all the people you had, you could just transfer them from Periscope to Happs. I'm like,
Wow.
wow, okay, that's just a godsend. Thank you for, I don't know him. It's just happening that he came into my life at that moment. I'm like, that's wow. And then I tried it today because right now I could be on Happs live on Twitter. Like I'm being
Mm.
live on YouTube at the same time. Simultaneously, I could be live on Facebook at the same time from that app. I could be live on so many different social media. So it's like one unique content. Like right now, we could record this content and I could publish it on all those social media through one app.
Yeah, so this I guess it's similar to StreamYard in the sense that we're recording through StreamYard and I can actually broadcast to YouTube and
Yeah, but StreamYard can
several other
broadcast
Facebook.
everywhere at the same time.
Yeah,
You
but
don't have those.
For Happs, you don't have that limitation because for StreamYard, you can't broadcast to LinkedIn. Well, you can, but you have to get permission from LinkedIn first. But are you saying that Happs is
No, it's
you
completely
have a
different,
broader?
and you get paid. Like right now, we could be live on Happs while we live on YouTube at the same time, and people listening to it could say, "Hey, I love this content, and I'm gonna pay you right now." So each
Okay, I need to check that out because I'm about the coins, right? I'm a personal finance. I'm about the coins, so I got to check
it's
out
all
Happs.
about. That's what I want. I almost offer you to move there, but I'm like, it's my first time I went streaming live from there, and I check on my YouTube. I was live also on YouTube, and also the subject I was tackling is like, I had the feeling that I was traveling a lot. That's another part of my books. And one day I arrived in Hawaii, and the lady there, she's a friend, she asked me one simple question. She's like, what are you running away from? I'm like,
Mm.
I'm not running away from something. And she's like, maybe you're not ready to answer that question. I'm like, no. And I'm trying, no, no, no. And then she said, like, just keep it somewhere. And when you're ready, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm like, I don't get what I'm just traveling. I'm not just running away from something. And then yesterday, I had this moment where I'm like, it seems like it's about the fact that you are not belonging, because my parents were traveling a lot. I was born in an area where I know no family, nothing. I'm the only one of the family been born there, and I'm just me. And I can't even connect with them and say, hey guys, we are the same. No, no way. You are not from us, from here. And people are always about born and raised and things like that. And I'm like, you have this feeling that you don't belong anywhere at some point, because everywhere you go, everywhere you had like 3 years, maybe 1 year or even 2 years, it's always like, because of your skin, because of the way you speak, you have no accent. Sometimes you have accent, you're different, you always have those things. And yesterday I had that feeling of it's all about the belonging part, because even if you are new in a community, you always have that fight. And even in social media, you have that fight. So I never thought about it. And today I'm like, okay, I'm just going to go live on this app. It's the first time. It's going to be streaming on my other social media, Twitter, everywhere. But I'm going to go and discuss this and say, this is my story. And whoever is feeling the same feeling, if you could come forward and maybe we could have a conversation going about that. And that's how I had my first show. And that CEO of Happs hopping on, and he sent some coins. I'm like, wow.
Wow. We have a couple more people joining us. Beverly Harper, Maja James. She also, I know you are, and I know you are pursuing your DBA, your doctorate.
Yep.
And Maja and I completed our doctorate in a few months, I guess, or a year apart.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so she is the HR guru. She's joining us today. So we have
Welcome.
we have several people who have different focuses that are on here, but I know that what you're sharing is so relevant no matter who. And let me put in the chat the name of that app if anybody else wants to become part of it, and it is HAPS.
Yes.
HAPS. So let me put it in the chat. So people can see it when we do the replay. But this sounds like something that I need to check out because, as I said, I'm all about money and where can I make money? How can I make my money work for me? How can I get more? So I will definitely
So
be checking it
that's the
out.
point of so many platforms. Also, one I was telling you about the 55 is a different platform called stereo.com. And it's the same like we're doing right now. We could have a business conversation where people could come and listen to it. And based on how many people are listening to you, you get a ranking. And every week, unfortunately, they stopped last week, but every week you could gain like 25,000, depending on the topic you are, 25,000 every week. And if you are not the first, at least you could gain like 5,000, 4,000, so on. And the lowest would be 100. And you have to be on the top 100 on that app.
Mm-hmm.
So you have so many options you have where you could be sharing your message like you're doing right now, and in the meantime caching. And that's why I said you have to find your niche and have to find where your avatar is spending time. And if you find them, just focus on that and make sure you are there. Or find an app like StreamYard, but StreamYard is quite limited because you can't go everywhere and share everywhere.
Right.
So find something like Happs, and in that case, I'm going to share my link if you want to be connected with me. And if you find that specific, I'm going to send it in private chat for you. So if you decide to go for it, you find your perfect avatar, be there all the time. Like if you know exactly if they are there, let's say in the morning, be there in the morning. If you are dealing with moms, usually they are more available in the morning because it's before the kids are away, they are at school and things like that. Just make sure you spend the time when they are live, because the worst thing is so many people would go live when their target audience is not live. And in that case, you're just wasting your time and talking to yourself, and that's not going to work.
Yeah. Thanks, Judy. Thanks for coming by. Yeah. So yeah, that is very key. I have been going live on Sunday evenings at the same time for several months now, and I have grown my channel at a steady rate because the expectation is the consistency. It's not even so, the consistency. And because I've been doing that, I have grown my channel. In 6 months, I've seen a lot of growth. And not only that, it's the community that I'm building, because I have some people who come.
I sent you by private chat the link if you want to highlight it. So
okay, do you want me to share it in the public chat or just with me?
Yes.
Okay, all right, I will do that. Both of them?
No, the first one, I forget the TV. It's Happs.tv.
Oh, okay. So it's
and
the second. Okay. So I will copy that into the chat. Yeah, it's about consistency, and with me coming on every Sunday afternoon at 4:30 p.m., the expectation is there that I'm going to be on. Although for the next 3 Sundays, 2 or 3 Sundays, I won't be here. I'm taking a break. This coming the last Sunday in December and the first Sunday in January, so I can regroup and I can, decompress. And because I'm starting a teaching job along with my 9 to 5 in January.
Okay.
And I'll be more focused on some other things too. So I'm taking a break to kind of like really reset my goal and make sure and just pray and make sure everything is okay. But they're expecting that at 4:30 p.m. every Sunday afternoon. And then there are people who are regular watchers of the replay, because they know that they expect that at 4:30. So as you mentioned before at the beginning, consistency is one of the things that matters. Because no matter what platform you're on,
breaks is a lot, I think.
Well, I think it's 2 weeks. Let me see. It's the last week, which is the 27th, and then the 3rd. So I'll be back on the 10th. So it's 2 weeks, 2 Sundays that I won't be live, but I'll be sharing some things, some short pre-recorded videos. I just won't be live on the 27th and the 3rd.
Oh, you could be live from the recording.
Yeah, but I'm just gonna do something short. I'm just gonna do something short during the.
No, I'm talking about the recording you're gonna play could be appearing live, like because the algorithm, what's gonna happen 2 weeks is a lot. So it's gonna go down for you. Like when you come back, you're gonna kind of you're gonna start like from scratch. So what the algorithm need is you to be live. Doesn't mean you and I are live right now, but you could replay this on a live.
Yeah, like a I
If you
guess it's
use
like a
b.live, if you
premiere.
use
Send it like a
b.live,
premiere. Hmm.
yes, if you use b.live, it's a replay of our talk right now, but you could make it live on your YouTube. And you have, I think, 3 options for free before they have to charge you every month.
Yeah, I'll look into, and then after this we can talk a little bit more. But
Mm-hmm.
I'll look into that because I really do need to have a break from not having to prepare information for the channel. I
Mm-hmm.
just really
Yeah,
need
but you
that.
don't
You
want
know,
the algorithm to go
everybody
down
needs a
either.
break.
You don't want to
Everybody
lose
needs
the
a break.
momentum you have. I
Yeah,
understand that,
yeah,
but just
yeah.
use something that's already recorded. So it's not like you're going to have to be live. You just have to play it, and you know it's going to last 30 minutes or half an hour, or I said 30 minutes, half an hour, sorry, or maybe 1 hour or so on. And then even if you want to make it 2 hours, you could do that. You just have to connect all the different episodes you want to put in and have the time you want and play the button. So you relax, you know it's going to be live for 2 hours or half an hour. You come back to end it. That's it. That's all you have to do. And it's allowing you to have the time for yourself and do something else. And I do that a lot because sometimes you can't be always producing new content. Sometimes you need a
Yeah.
break. And I hear you and I understand that. That's why you could use those opportunities like b.live and display something that was like, let's say, your first episode on this platform. Do you think everyone saw it?
Well, actually, I think they did. Not everyone, just some people,
So
because I
it's an
promoted it
option to go
before.
back to explain
Mhm.
who you are. And while you are having this, let's say, this moment of break where you kind of resource and kind of find why, you could display that one that nobody or not everybody watch it. So it's going to be something new content for the people who haven't watched it. And in the meantime, allowing you to relax. That's how I would do it. So
Okay.
it's not like you are not there, because every week the algorithm knows that you're going to be there. And one day
Yeah.
you are not there, that's not going to help you.
Yeah. 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 You're right. Because that mighty algorithm.
Yeah, you have to deal with that.
You
It's
have
not
to
like,
feed
okay, I'm a
that
human being.
algorithm.
It's
You,
not a human being doing that. So,
you've got to feed that algorithm. Oh, thanks, Beverly. Thanks, Sid, for the congratulations. Yeah. So let me see what if you have any questions, please post them in the chat in the meantime. Um, and okay, we talked a little bit about how a person can kind of help to determine their focus. Is really to focus on their avatar. Where is it? Where is your avatar? Where's the place that your avatar resides the most?
mhm.
And or you think they reside the most? And how can you target that avatar? So for somebody who their avatar may be a mix of more than one platform, maybe 2 or 3 platforms,
Mhm.
how can they best structure their content to make sure they're reaching those platforms, not just the one, but maybe 2 or 3 platforms?
What I would do would be first, who's the avatar? Write it down and kind of visualize it in your head. This is my avatar. This is how they sing, and this is where they hang out. And then, even if it's 2 or 3, you definitely have one that's the major platform where they would be. And then, what are they buying? What's the kind of thing they would do, the different activities? And once you have those ideas, it's easier to talk to somebody. And you have to think in your mind, every time you go live, every time you want to post something from Canva or anything you want to post, how would, and I like one of the lady I was coaching, she likes to call her avatar under a name. So her audience is more like ladies, and she's always thinking, this is how she's speaking. She's saying like, I know how Cindy gonna react to this information. So it's like she's having a conversation with Cindy, even if Cindy doesn't exist, it's just an avatar. And
Yeah,
even when she goes live, she's like, I was thinking Cindy would say this about that. And then she's gonna be like, what Cindy think about my new product? Cindy would think about my new article. Cindy would think about my holidays, what Cindy would think about so many things. And it's more like real in your mind. And you could see Cindy, and it's like, okay, if I had a real conversation with you, how would you react to this? And that's how you kind of develop this idea. It's a conversation with your crowd. And the
yeah,
crowd would feel like, oh, you're talking to me. I feel like I want to know more about this.
Yeah, that's a good strategy. I mean, we've always been taught about, having an avatar. As I said, Letitia and I, we are in this business cohort, and
Mhm.
Nicole Walters, I don't know if you've heard of her. I mean, she shares a really great tips, and we've always been taught that in a couple of the social media YouTube growth persons that I follow, they're always talking about, how every time you have a YouTube session, you want to think, what do you want your call of action to be? What do you want? What result do you want
Mhm.
from having that? It's whether it's to build followers or to get somebody to sign on for a product or something. You always want to have a call to action in mind.
Mhm.
And so that what you're sharing about saying, that Cindy, I think it brings more focus to
Yeah, and you don't even
your
need to
when
say
you're
the call
sharing,
to
because you're
action, actually.
right, because you're talking to Cindy. And so as
Exactly.
you're talking to Cindy, you're more focused on what it is that you're saying and you're sharing in that session.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
And we have a
exactly right.
question here
Okay.
from Letitia. Well, before I share a question, let me say, she said, love that tip, the algorithm. Yes, yes, Letitia, we
You're
have
welcome. Like,
feel that algorithm, because it's not even so much about and I think you shared it a little bit too. It's not so much, as I've learned, it's not so much about what you share, what that you want to share, but it's when you share it, the combination of what you share, your thumbnail and all of that thing, when YouTube looks at it, YouTube is pushing it out there. And if the algorithm is saying
no, actually, how it
somebody
works
will out there
is
will
like
like it,
right
and
now we're going.
once they click on that information, then YouTube sees or that somebody's out there who
Mhm.
cares about that content, and that will allow them to want to continue to push it out because somebody's engaging with your content.
Yes, and also you have to know you have 1 hour to convince the algorithm.
Yes, yeah. When you push it out that first time,
Yeah.
and that's why when people redo their thumbnails, and it's like fresh, and you redo all maybe your title, and you push
Mhm.
it back out there, the algorithm sees it like new content, and you have the
Exactly.
chance. And that's why sometimes people think a video that they've done maybe 5 months ago that didn't do well, when they redo the thumbnail and the title or something and push it back out, and the algorithm now gets to know you a little bit. So when you push that new one out, the algorithm says, okay, yeah, this is something that your people would like, and push it out there.
Yes,
So all
that's
right, so
exactly what it is. That's why you can't
so
take 2 weeks break. Sorry.
I repent, I won't.
Sorry.
All right,
Sorry
so
of bad news.
Letitia has a question. And so she's asking, she said, are you saying the tips for less time on social media is to use Happs?
What I would say is like once you know exactly where your social media is, or if you're starting so you don't give a crap, you don't care, you're just trying, you could go for it. But I would advise to kind of focus on your crowd, on your avatar. Like let's say you call it Cindy, and you know if it's Cindy or if it's Brandon, whoever is your avatar, where they are hanging out. And depending on that, like let's say the example earlier with Severin was, let's say you have 2 or 3 different social media and your crowd is definitely on those 3. And Happs is covering those 3. Definitely go on Happs because it's going to allow you to do one time the job, be available live on all those platforms, and get paid while you're on Happs. So right now, like this interview we have right now, if it was on Happs, people could hop on and pay. So at the end of the call, you could go down and you check how much you made just by people having to be live right now and enjoying it. And then you have the replay catching up on Happs. Plus, at the same time, you are live on your crowd right now on YouTube. And you are live on Twitter as well. And you are live on so many different social media. You could be even live on your Facebook platform. Like if you have 10 different Facebook, you could be live on those 10 Facebook pages.
Yeah. So essentially what she's saying is yes, Letitia, because apps will allow you to to broadcast to several other places at the same time, because StreamYard does the same, but it's very limited in how many platforms you can broadcast at the same time. And so you definitely will be saving time, and not only will you be saving time, you'll be making my favorite thing, which is coins. All
And
right, so
Facebook tried to do that, but it's not working well so far, because on Facebook Live now you could get some coins and stuff like that, but I don't think it's working that well. But they want to develop that part.
Yeah, I actually started off using Facebook Live, and before I was brave enough to come on YouTube, and and then I would just record it and then plop it onto YouTube, because I wasn't comfortable enough. But now I go to YouTube, I go whichever one live, and it doesn't even matter. Even if I make a mistake, some videos I listen to, I didn't mean to say that way, but you know what? It's okay. I just do it and just let the chips fall where they're made. And if I need to, put a caption to say this is what I meant to say here or whatever, then I can do that. But I just love the flexibility of going live and creating a community like we were talking now, where people can ask their questions, and it's not a recorded thing, it's done. And if they have questions, we may never get back to the questions. We may ask other questions a year later, but right now you have the opportunity to ask questions as we are live. So I love the community of going live.
And then you're going to love Happs, because it's 7 million users, so you're going to love it on that app.
Wow. Yes, I will definitely be checking it out, because we have 5 days off from work that they've given us, plus my vacation days. So I'll have a lot of time to get caught up in all the different things. So I'll definitely be checking out at Happs. Now, can you share with us, as we wrap up here, anything that any keys that you think that those who are listening now and those who may be listening to the replay, any keys that they need to focus on as they continue to build their social media presence? And I also want to share your books with those who are here, and I also want to share where they can contact you on social media. But in the meantime, any tips that you think that those
what I usually do on the first meeting is ask you, what's your big picture? Because sometimes you have an idea, you want to develop something and you don't see the full picture, and you have to kind of visualize it and know exactly where you're going and see yourself. And I usually ask you, what's your big picture? If it's not really clear, I'll ask you, because if I want to help you and I don't know exactly where you want to go, it's like having a client who doesn't know where he wants to go. So if you tell me today, I want to go on Twitter, and I'm helping you on Twitter, and maybe your social media crowd is maybe on Instagram, so you're doing it all wrong. And after a few months, you'll be like, oh, Twitter is not good because your crowd is not there, and you were thinking it's the right one. So usually I ask you to visualize your big and final picture, even if it's not the final, it's the one you have at that moment. And then I'll ask you also, where do you want my help? If you already visualize it or not. Otherwise, I'll ask you, where do you see yourself in your business in 6 months? If you have an idea, where do you want to go in 6 months? And if you could visualize yourself in 6 months, what did you achieve from the moment we started to talk and now? And then I'll ask you also if you had already worked with different coaches, and why me in that case. I'll also think about what's your budget, because each social media, if you want to monetize your advertising and stuff like that, you have to know what's your budget, what could you handle and what can't you. If you can't spend money on the budget, you have to go guerrilla. So if you want to go guerrilla, what kind of guerrilla you could have? What's the resource you have right now? Who are your friends? Who are your crowds that may support your idea? Because sometimes family is not there to support you. So you have to face you have to face all those questions before you jump in, because you don't want to be like, I know you'll be there for me, and you'll be like, hey, I'm your sister, I'm not here to be your bank, I'm not here to be your wallet, I'm not here to do this. And you have to consider all those options. And then what's your time and commitment to? Because whether you pay or not, you have to be committed, and you have to have that time. And if you don't have that time, it's not going to work either, because you have to be committed. Right now, you want 2 weeks off. That's not going to happen. You have to find another way to kind of have your 2 weeks off, but you can't be just off the algorithm. And you have to also think about what's the different milestone. And once you have those ideas, you have the final picture. So you visualize it now. So come back to now and see what's the different steps you have to have. Think about your avatar. And where is the avatar spending time? Which media is more important to them? It's not about you. I don't want to be mean. It's not about you.
Yeah.
It's about them. So you have to think, where do you hang out? If you are a mom, if you are, what's the real reason you are doing it? And don't have a wrong why. Because if you have a wrong why, it won't work. At some point, you'll be like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't like what I'm doing. And I want to completely change it. And so many people are working corporate. And from one day to another, they just realize it was the wrong thing. And then they have to rebuild themselves. And they wasted so many years doing that. So that's the kind of thing I would ask you first. And then based on your avatar, if it's IG, Instagram, if you want to be on the media, if you want to be on local news, local TV, everything, you have to have your IG ready. Because what the local news would look first, okay, let's go and check your IG. And it happened to be your IG about yourself, about having fun. Nobody gonna come back to you for the business because it's gonna be like, oh my gosh, she's just all about herself. I don't want a narcissist. So I'm out of there. So you have to think about how eventually, if you could go out of your social media and have a look, like if you're a complete stranger and you just met yourself, what would you think about what's there? What's in your Facebook? What's LinkedIn? Make sure you have perfect message, because whoever is talking by, you have, like on movie set or YouTube, you have 4 seconds to convince someone to come in or go away. 4 seconds. So if you start with, oh, this is really messy, I don't want to stay here, you lose that person forever. It's the same on IG. People would just think, oh, okay, it's the first 5 or 6 pictures. Oh, ouch, I'm out of here. You lose that customer forever. When somebody, even if you had a bad day and at all, has to say something like that's nasty to you, just take a breath, I don't know, 1 day or 2, or just go a glass of water, calm yourself down, and come and think why that person took the time. Because even if you are tall, you spend your time writing that message. That means you are interested in some ways. I don't know how, but some ways you took the time to watch it and you took the time to critique it in a bad way. So that means you spend a lot of time. So what I would do, even if it's nasty, I'll just take a deep breath, I don't know, maybe meditation, something, and come back in a nice way. Say, thank you for taking the time, like I did with that tweet. I just said, thank you for taking the time to do this, and thank you for teaching me. Because if you have 3 followers and I can't, maybe there is something I could learn from you, from your 3 followers. And that's how I was able to move him from a hater at all to somebody who loves me now and who believes in what I'm doing and who's there for every book that's released because he believes in it. And he's going to be the best advocate. But the thing is, I know it's really hard sometimes to kind of swallow it. And the 1-star review was really nasty on Amazon, by the way, for the book. And I was able to have a conversation and he changed it. And he came back himself and said, I apologize. So you have to consider that if somebody is taking the time to do those things, that means maybe somehow they like you. It's just maybe they don't know how to convey the message. And in that case, just leave the door open. Don't just kick them out, and find a way. Unless you don't have a time at all, and maybe you consider that there is nothing that could happen behind it. And even that case, I'll consider that maybe that person won't be my client, but maybe behind him, his family or somebody else he's going to talk to about a situation would turn out to be, oh my gosh, I know you. If she could handle you, definitely she could handle anyone, you know, those kind of things. And that person going to come back to you and say, wow, really, respect, because you're able to handle that one. That means you can handle anything.
Yeah. Letitia is saying, before we wrap up, Letitia is saying, I joined Happs just now. I'll try to go live on it in IG and Facebook on Tuesday. Good luck, and let us know how it goes, Letitia.
And don't forget to follow me there too. oh, we don't say follow there. I think it's subscribe. So don't forget to subscribe.
Well, Ndeye, this has been very informative, very I think very useful information. And for those who are watching, I'm sure they are enjoying it. There's some of the comments that are saying they love it. And
Thank
those
you so
who are
much.
going to be watching the replay, I know that they are going to enjoy it also, because this has been enlightening. I have learned quite a few things. myself, and I have been on social media for a while, and I have learned quite a bit of information that I know I can apply to make my social media presence even more effective. So thank you again. And I am going to be sharing her contact information. You can contact her at Instagram, at Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook. I have her contact information here. And if you were not able to write it down, when you when the video replays, you'll be able to go back and collect that information. So our information, Instagram and Twitter is the same. It's at Labaden Ndeye, Labadens Ndeye. And then for LinkedIn and Facebook, it's Ndeye Labadens Ndeye Labadens. So thank you guys for staying with us and listening as Ndeye share so much insightful information. And I will see you guys in January. I'll see you in January on January 10th for our interactive live. But in the meantime, based on direction from Ndeye, you will also have a pre-recorded content for the next couple of Sundays. And please don't forget to go to Amazon and check out her book. She has, I think it's four, right? You're up to four.
Yes.
Up to 4, How to Crush Social Media in Only 2 Minutes a Day. And each book focuses on different social media platforms. So please go and check it out and support her. And it's really, if what she's sharing here is so enlightening, you can imagine what it's like in the book. So it's going to have a lot more content. So again, Ndeye, thank you. This is the first time, but it won't be the last time that you'll be here sharing with us. I have really enjoyed it. And for everyone, have a very Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays and Happy New Year. And I will talk to you guys very soon. Let me see. There's a new comment here. What is it saying? Oh, Beverly Harper is saying thank you, Ndeye. So yes, thank you so very much for joining us. And everybody else, I will see you around social media.
And Merry Christmas to all of you, and thank you for being here. Bye.